So on that, Lizzie, you've got the mic. The next question I have, because this really resonates to the, I would say, the one property which you are planning. And this question is from a customer who is based in Scotland. And the question is, how is sanctuary ensuring staff are consistently treating residents with respect and empathy? So this is for both yourself and Craig. But as I said, you had the mic, so happy for you to continue. Thank you.
Very happy to take the mic ahead of Craig. Thank you, Bonnie. So I think respected is a really key word. So we launched our customer outcomes framework last year, and we had over 5,000 customers tell us the things that were really important to them. And they came up with 3 things, which was around feeling safe, proud, and respected. And they're the themes that we now push through everything that we do. And one of those areas is around how do our colleagues interact with our customers. So I mentioned the training, and we've done a huge amount of work on encouraging our staff to recognise vulnerabilities and differences within our customer base, but also around how do they support themselves to thrive in their workplace, because we know that somebody that's happy in their job is going to be far more likely to be happy in delivering the service and really focus on the customer outcomes. So the thing that we're launching this year is we're launching a colleague outcomes framework, and that's going to tie directly to safe, proud and respected as well. So we want to make sure that our colleagues have a direct link to ensuring and supporting our customers feel safe, proud and respected. And we're going to do that through focusing on how we ensure our colleagues also feel safe, proud and respected in the work that they do. We've also done a lot of work around vicarious trauma and ensuring that we understand some of the difficult situations that both our customers and our colleagues have in their personal lives and at work, and really supporting colleagues to thrive and look after their well-being, but also recognising that within our customer base so that we really tailor that service, again, to ensure that our customers feel respected. But I'm sure Craig's got further things to add on that as well.
Well, I'm going to touch on and talk about the culture of the organisation who provide your services, because for me that's the absolute key to successful customer service, and it's an area that I've been focusing on since I was appointed as chief executive, but it's also been an issue across the whole of the social housing sector, it's fair to say. I've used a phrase in public, and I'll use it again now, that I think the sector, Sanctuary included, stepped too far away from its customers. And we're having to put that right, and we're having to alter the culture of the organisation. Now, the good news for me is that across all of our team around the country, that's been enthusiastically received. What we're unlocking is the fact that people do want to have the right approach to delivering customer service, and our teams are really enthusiastic for that. Particularly, they're taken by the fact that customers do come first, and we need to make that a reality. So my job's been made easier by the enthusiasm of the teams that for the change in culture, and I'm confident that will feed through and embed itself successfully. You back that up with all of the things that Lizzie's just alluded to that we reinforce that with, and I think we do have a recipe for success there. But it's going to be hard work. I mean, our customers rightly have increased expectations of the services that they wish to receive, and we have to race and work hard to keep up with those expectations in what is an imperfect world and imperfect systems that we all work within. But the cultural aspect, I'm really confident, is landing in the right place. I'm sure there are some really great examples of that going on all the time. Equally, I'm sure we still make some mistakes on occasions, and it's how we put those right, it's fair to say. But this for me is the absolute key aspect of customer delivery, the culture of the organisation, and I am very keen that we don't lose sight of that ever again.
That's really great. Thank you so much, Craig. I guess, it's really refreshing to kind of know that customer is still in the heart of Sanctuary. Our next question is from a customer from Brewhouse in Yorkshire. And I guess, Lizzie, you touched on this a little bit earlier as well, but probably you want to elaborate. So the question is, what steps are being taken to improve communications between a Sanctuary and the residents? And maybe Craig, because you still have the mic, maybe, if you can start and yeah.
That was a subtle effort to wrong foot us both, wasn't it? But, you could be more explicit than that if you like. Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the kind of bigger picture, because I think it's really important. So improving communication between Sanctuary and its residents has to be at all levels of Sanctuary as an organisation. So let me start by just talking about the board of Sanctuary, who oversee and employ the likes of myself and the rest of the team. It's a fundamental part of their job that they hear directly from our customers and residents. So there's several things we've put in place to help with that. Our resident scrutiny and advisory panels meet each year directly with the board to talk about anything that they wish to talk about. Our board members are out and about quite a lot. They were out yesterday, for instance, around South London. And they take the opportunity to bump into residents, to speak to residents directly, but also to see for themselves. So right at the very top of the organisation, if you like, we've put formal mechanisms in place so that they hear directly from residents. Same is true of our senior management team. It's a requirement of all of our senior managers that they get out and about. They don't just sit in their own silos looking at finance, looking at technology. They have to go and see for themselves and hear for themselves as well. And I think they're really important things, and they're part of the culture of the organisation that's been changing. And then you add into that the sheer range of activities and initiatives that we have been putting in place around the country to get ourselves closer to our customers. So getting our housing officers out and about and on site more than ever before, more events with our schemes and our engagement days, more mechanisms for our customers to get involved with Sanctuary, be that through communities of interest or through the resident scrutiny and advisory panels, and also the range of mechanisms by which our customers can get involved with us. So it doesn't all have to be on Teams. Some of it can be face-to-face. Some of it can be through surveys. Some of it can be through email exchanges and other types of forum. So we have simply been trying to top to bottom of the organisation, and I say it's simple, but it isn't really. From the top to the bottom of the organisation, we have trying to get ourselves to be more engaged, more open, and open up a broader range of conversations with our customers. And that is meeting with success. We have contact with tens of thousands of our customers purely for the purpose of hearing from them, not to deal with a repairs issue, not to deal with an inquiry about a rent account, simply to listen to what they want to say to us. And most importantly, I'm absolutely seeing the influence that is having on the design of our services, the investments we choose to make in systems, and the way that we need to listen and hear what our customers are saying has never been more important from my perspective.
No, I think you covered the majority of it, Craig. I think, the key is that the customer voice is really strong in everything we do, linking back to the resident engagement strategy and the piece around co-creation at both a strategic and a local level being so key. And that doesn't matter whether that is what demographic of customer, so whether that's an older customer, a younger customer, what part of the country. We're really trying to ensure that we get a huge range of diverse voices. I think the other thing that probably is really interesting that we're doing as well is that we launched a couple of years ago now customer mentors, and Bonnie, I know that you are a mentor to one of our senior team, and we've had huge success with that. So we have customers, not just our customers from our resident advisory and scrutiny panel, but a broad range of customers who provide direct mentoring services to our senior team. I know that Craig, you've had that. I have last year had a mentor for about a year and a half, and I'm now moving, and Jean, everyone who's engaged with Sanctuary would know Jean, and now I'm moving on to a new customer mentor, and we're focusing on somebody from our youth sector, so I get a really clear voice of what our younger customers are looking for. So I think our mentoring is really strong, and I think it's had a real impact in how our colleagues understand the needs of the customer and really keep that really central to all of the decisions that they're making.
And if anyone wants to volunteer to be my next customer mentor, please get in touch.
Ooh, that is an opportunity not to miss. The next question is all around, again, that customer engagement. And this one is from one of our customers in London, Hackney, to be precise. And the question goes, how does Sanctuary plan to engage more meaningfully with residents who feel unheard or overlooked? I believe, Lizzie, this one is for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. It's a really interesting question, isn't it? I think it's always a challenge because we don't want to force people to interact with us or give us feedback if perhaps they're just happy to get along with their day-to-day life living in one of our homes. So I think it's about providing access and opportunity for those people that want it. So we'll continue to drive that real-time feedback. So we're always looking to increase the services that we send those surveys out on and looking at the different methods that we use. So not everybody's got access online. So how do we get that face-to-face feedback? So always looking to evolve that. Craig mentioned local engagement, and we've done a huge amount around local engagement. So we hold customer focus days where we bring a whole variety of colleagues together. So it may be a repairs operative, estates operative, maybe somebody from the income team, housing officers. We might bring in other agencies, so maybe the police or the fire service or any other local authority that it may be relevant for, and get together in communities to really engage with our customers in a proactive and more maybe fun way. Maybe coffee and cake, maybe something more elaborate, but whatever suits that community really. And we've had huge success with that. So we held over 1,000 focus days last year, and they're the big ones. They don't include the 80,000 interactions that we have either by wandering around our estates and bumping into our customers and getting feedback when we do more formal estate inspections and other things. So I think huge amount of local engagement to really try and understand that local communities require different things. We also have a real focus on trying to contact customers that we haven't heard from. So if we haven't heard from a customer with a repair or a focus day or in another way, how do we proactively just check in and ensure everything's all right there without being too intrusive? Because, you know, not everybody wants to hear from us. So we do try and contact customers that we haven't heard from over a period of time and really try and get their input too. I talked about the portal earlier as well, and I probably should have flagged that we're not pushing everything through a digital channel. So customers can speak to us face to face, or they can speak to us on the phone or on an email, or they can use the portal. And the aim of the portal is if customers want to use it and go and look online and sort of self-serve, that frees up our people to be more available to interact with customers who maybe can't or don't want to use digital means. So we're going to keep all of those channels open. So face-to-face, in-person, online, on the telephone, all that sort of thing, to really try and ensure we don't leave anybody behind and we don't have anybody that feels unheard. And I think the last thing I'd say on that one is that, you know, we've not been the best at telling you when there isn't something to tell you. So that sounds a little bit odd, doesn't it? But sometimes there's a period of time where you may have raised a repair and maybe there's a survey that needs to be done, or there's something complicated that needs to be addressed. And we kind of leave you in a void at that point. And what we're trying to do is really improve that, so that we're improving our interim updates and our communication, just to let you know we haven't forgotten about you, and that we'll come back to you when we've got more information. And we know that that's something that's really important to our customers, because customers told us as part of this launch of this resident engagement strategy that communication is one of the most important things that will help them feel safe, proud and respected. So we know that we've got more to do on that, and we're going to continue to try and improve as we move forward on this strategy.